What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of 30 Minutes of Hell. I am your host, Brandon Baker, joined as always by Joey Jackson and Matt Jackson. We've got some Razorback hoops to talk about. A far more exciting game than we expected in a 1 point victory over Winthrop. The red flags are still waving a little bit. We're going to get into our full thoughts on this game. Um, Running out of time may be a harsh term, but there's one more non-conference game before Arkansas gets into a brutal stretch of their schedule, starting with Duke in a neutral site game in Chicago on Thanksgiving Day. So I don't think things are dire at the moment, but they could quickly get ugly if this trend does not, like if we don't start figuring some things out soon. So let's jump into our thoughts on the Winthrop game. I was fortunate enough to go and attend this game. Was expecting to get to leave a little early and get home early, but had my heart racing by the end of it because what a finish! Let's just start there. What a wild, that may be one of the wildest finishes I've ever seen in a game, especially witnessed live. Joey and I talked about it a little bit. Go check out our TikTok if you haven't seen it yet. But the game-winning layup followed by the headlock tackle and Nick Pringle throwing a dude to the ground. Like I don't think it was Nick Pringle's fault. Like I've seen some people on Twitter like blaming us of saying that it was Pringle's fault. It wasn't. Like I don't blame him in that situation in the heat of the moment. I don't blame him. You do probably need to be smarter when you just gave your team a 1 point lead. But I think Arkansas was fortunate to come out of that the way they did. But I don't think Pringle started it. I don't think I blame him for reacting to it.
The
But
the only
oh
thing
wow,
I blame him for is the reaction because it very easily could have gone in a different direction with the way that he picked him up from the jersey. You just can't, like, I understand, like, this dude just put you in a headlock and brought you to the floor, but you can't pick him back up by his bootstraps and throw him to the ground and call it good. Like, you gotta scuffle, get out of there. Like, it's just it was I still just get the heebie-jeebies thinking about it because we could have lost that game because of that.
Yeah, I screamed. I said audibly loud, "Let's go!" And then Pringle, no! As soon as
And then
that
he texted
happened,
us, Prongle, no.
the autocorrect got me, and it was devastating. I was like, he just lost us the game, and like the first moment he won us the game, and then he lost us the game. I was so stressed. But when he got taken down, right, I was like, yes, we got like it's gonna be a flagrant on him. Like that's what I thought. It's gonna be a flagrant on this guy. And then Pringle decided to deadlift a guy, and which how tall was that dude? Like he was
he
a
was big.
big guy,
He's
and
a
he
big
just
guy.
he just picked him up. I wish I
Got
could have
manhandled.
seen. I wish I could have seen his face. Eyes got big. I'm sure it's just because
Well,
he deadlifted that man and threw
the
him.
more the more I watch the replay, because I've watched it several times, the more I wonder what Pringle. I think Pringle said something to him because it was a pretty. He had the ball over his head like this, and then it's like Pringle kind of nuzzled into his ear, and that's when the rip down happened. So
Yeah.
And there was
I don't
there
know.
was
I
another
don't have any
Winthrop
knowledge.
there was another Winthrop player on the ground at their feet, right? And like there was a little tangled, there was a little trip, it was a little this and that, but I mean, it was
Emotions
a
are high.
crack.
Potential
I
game
think
winner.
that whole wraparound was purely intentional. Like I don't know if falling to the ground was, but I mean, you saw him. He was up here, and then he goes around Pringle and pulls him down.
Yeah.
So, do I think it was Pringle's fault? Absolutely not. I wish he would have just like got taken to the ground, which it's hard to do when you're somebody
Yeah.
like Nick Pringle, you know? I mean, he's a
The
dog.
emotions are high. The emotions are high in that moment anyways. And so like being able to control it and walk away would have been near impossible, right? Like that's tough. But Arkansas did come out. I mean, it was double technicals on the two of them, four ejections, two on both teams. So it all ended up being just completely neutral. And I mean, the Hawks came out with the best possible deal they could have, I think, in the end of it. Held on to their lead. played one final good possession of defense, one of about nine good possessions of defense we saw all game. Uh, but yeah, so moving on from that, all in all in the game, I really did not feel like Arkansas played that bad of a game. I felt like they were average above average most of the time. There was probably like 6 minutes of game time where we looked good. But for the most part, it was just miscommunications, playing maybe slower than we should have, small things that we didn't do very well, and Winthrop came to play. Like they're a type of team, they play almost exclusively seniors, and they're the type of team that makes you come in and beat them. They don't come into a building and lose. They play well enough to make you beat them, and I feel like Arkansas just survived them. They didn't do enough to really like beat them. And so, I mean, and they played the game of their lives, right? I mean, like Kareem Rozier going 7 of 10 from three, that was just nuts. There's not a lot you can do on nights like that. We did leave him open a couple times and again, miscommunicating on defense, not knowing how we're guarding pick and rolls, things like that. But I don't know. It was a weird game that I just didn't feel like Arkansas. It didn't look like we were just playing that bad. We were just kind of okay for most of the game, and they were playing out of their minds,
I
and
mean,
it ended up being a very close game.
even outside of Rozier, they shot nearly 50% from
Yeah,
three. They shot
I was gonna
15 for
say that.
31.
That's insane. I
Yeah, the
mean,
whole team was just lighting it up.
yeah,
And I agree with you, Brandon. We didn't you said it perfectly. We survived that game. We didn't play better than Winthrop. We honestly, I wouldn't say that we deserved to win that game. Our defense was horrendous. We still can't guard the pick and roll. It's these little things that I'm glad that we're seeing them early in the season because these are the things that are going to keep us from being a title contender or keep us from making a run in March. It's just Winthrop's a good team. They played exceptionally well, but we can't just survive against teams like this because our competition is about to get much more difficult.
yeah. I think if you look at it in the perspective of how well Winthrop played and how well we should have played, I think we could expect to beat that team by 10, 15 points just in that specific game, right? Because they were playing absolutely insane. There was no reason, even with them playing as well as they did, should they have been ahead in the last, what, 90 seconds? I mean, that's ridiculous. So we got to wake up. We got to figure something out because something is not working. These last couple games, just something is not going right. I can't pinpoint it. I know it's a lot on our bigs, but at the same time, it's like our bigs are playing fairly well if we take into account Brazil and Pringle. I'm not even putting you in that conversation anymore. I mean,
He didn't even play 7 minutes, so he
yeah,
didn't have a huge impact on this
no,
game.
those 7 minutes were somewhat important.
That's true. That's true. I mean, they went on a big run. Ewan came in the game and we were up, I don't know, five or something, and Ewan came
Yeah,
in and it was like an immediate 7-0 run for them to take the
yeah.
lead.
I
And
think
that's not like entirely his fault, but it's
yeah.
telling.
I mean, there were a couple possessions where he just kind of fell asleep, you know? I don't know. There's a lot about this game that I could nitpick and everything, but at the end of the day, just show a little bit more effort. I feel like they didn't ex respect Winthrop and they were going through the motions at first, letting their talent kind of coast them through. And then when they came out fighting, they're like, uh-oh, and turn it on here and there. We had spurts where, I mean, shoot, we were up by what, 8, 9 points, and then we just let them come right back.
I think for me, two big things really stood out for me in this game, and it's kind of reoccurring trends and things that like I'm watching moving forward. I mentioned it earlier already, communicating on defense, like we don't know how we want to guard a pick and roll every time it happens. It's like they decide when it starts happening, then they're like, "Oh, how are we going to do this?" And I mean, one play in particular stands out where Pringle is guarding the guy setting the screen. Darius Acuff is guarding Kareem Rozier. Pringle hedges hard, helps out on the 3-point line. Acuff assumes that they switch, so he turns his back and runs to like the corner, runs to somebody else to guard him. Pringle then leaves the ball to go back to his man because he thinks he's just hedging, thinks he's just helping, and all of a sudden, Kareem Rozier, who is shooting 70%
Yeah.
from three, finds himself wide open because we just miscommunicated and everybody ran away from him. And like that was the most egregious example, but there was many times where we couldn't decide how much we were going to hedge, if we were going to do a full switch, if we did do a full switch, what we were going to do with the big man. There were several times out of the pick and roll that their big just got the ball on the block and he had Billy on him or Malik Thomas on him. And like there's only so much you can ask them to do against a 6'10" kid that outweighs them by 50 pounds, right? Like, I know they're both good players, but that's not their strength. That's not their specialty. Like, we have to figure out. And Cal did make a good adjustment talking about that specifically, the post up. Late in the game, he went back to having Brazil and Pringle on the court together so that in all of those scenarios, you can rotate one of them over to guard the big man. And I thought that was a good adjustment. It helped, right? Like in the last minute and 2 minutes, we came back, and I think that's a big part of it. They weren't getting whatever they wanted in the paint, but just that defensive communication is just lacking. It's just not there. I don't know if Cal is just letting them try to figure it out or if they just haven't figured it out yet. I don't know, but it's not looking good.
Okay, here's where my issue comes in is I'm tired of Cal letting his players figure it out. He at some point needs to step in because we had the same issue last year. We were complaining about the pick and roll defense because the players don't know how to guard it. And you wonder if that's a player thing or if that's a coach thing. Not saying that Cal hasn't been around the block. He knows how to coach a basketball team, but we've got our two best players are young guys. They're freshmen. They're 18 years old. Like you you can't let them figure it out. Like they have to be coached, they have to be led. And that doesn't even take into account how many times we were getting just straight up beat on the backdoor cut. No play run, just beat off the cut. And that those two things in particular, pick and roll defense and backdoor cuts, that's where Duke is going to eat us alive. They run so many back screens to the corner, slip screens. They have they run those plays so well to where they're going to get their looks, and if we don't know how to guard it, we're going to lose by 15, 20 points to them.
There is absolutely no reason why our guys can't get through a screen and stay on their man. I don't feel like there's a need to even consider switching unless it's between guards because we're quick, we're athletic, we're strong. I mean, this is one of the strongest teams I've seen Arkansas have, just actual strength wise. I mean, they're built, they're big, and the effort that some of these guys have in certain moments get around that screen and get the big guy back. I don't want to see those matchups between Billy and, a 7 footer. As strong and as athletic as he is, there's no reason for that. Get around the screen. Get around the screen. I know some guys are good screeners, but you got to fight. You just got to, it's an effort thing, I feel like, to just punch through those screens.
The only player I'm comfortable with in a switch situation is Knox because of how
Mhm.
big he is and how strong he
I,
is.
I feel like Billy too, just from his effort. I feel like we've seen him do really well against some of these post players, depending. It all is dependent on who that post is. Is he a genuine threat or is he just a big body? Right? Like if we go up against, Michigan State, for instance, some of their big guys, they're a lot more talented. Their footwork's better. But if we're going up against somebody who's just, a meathead who can just back you down and go dunk, then I kind of trust that a little bit more. I feel like that Knox and Richmond both have enough finesse to maybe get underneath, steal that pass, do whatever. But it's all dependent. I just don't want to see switches.
But to that initial point that you made, Matt, what's going to happen when we've got Cameron Boozer in the pick and roll situation,
We're just going
and
to beat him.
we've got to switch Billy or Acuff or Wagner? What I mean, we're fighting for our lives in that situation
We're going to hope for a Rozier game against Duke is at this point.
because Duke's looking pretty good.
They're looking good, but they ain't
Duke,
Arkansas.
I'm worried about Duke a little bit, but we'll get there.
That's a
Um,
conversation for another episode.
Moving to some of the positives from this game, Trevor Brazil specifically, I feel like really turned it up a notch when things were not going how Arkansas wanted them to. Had a few big blocks, had blocked a couple of jump shots late in the game that really like those were some of the loudest I heard the crowd all game when he was able to get out to the perimeter and defend shots like that, and it led to points, right? Like when we were down 3 points, Brazil blocked a jump shot, gave it to Acuff, and he went down and scored to cut it to 1 point. That's what set up that final possession. And he was very efficient in this game, 14 and 8 with 4 block shots, plus 10 led the team in plus minus. I mean, he turned it up. He played how we need him to play. We don't have to have him scoring 20 points a night, but 12, 14 points, 8, 9 rebounds, a few blocks, minimal turnovers. Like that's exactly what we need from Trevor Brazil, efficiency and just impacting the game the way that he can. And beyond him, Malik Thomas yet again led the team offensively. I felt like at times there was a stretch where he was almost kind of playing hero ball a little bit, but they were falling. Like he had a stretch of like 5 possessions where he made 3 or 4 out of the 5, had a great move to get to the rim, made some contested threes, the type of plays that we expect to see from him, the type of scorer that he is. And that's exactly in the situation in the moment that we needed him to be that type of scorer, to have that short memory. He did shoot 50% from the field, had 26 points, still had 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Like he did what he needed to do to keep our head afloat in that game and keep us alive to come back late. I don't like he clearly led us. We were not alive in that game without Malik Thomas coming alive offensively like that.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead,
Okay.
Matt. Sorry.
Okay. All right. I may take your point here. Probably not though. So with him, he is so aggravating because his stats say like, hallelujah, he is great, right? But when I watch him play, he aggravates me so much. Like it just shot decisions and it just shot selection just pisses me off. I mean, but then he goes down in the clutch and doesn't miss. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna eat my socks, like that's just how it is. And I can't stand it. I need him to take what he can do in the clutch moments and produce in the games where we should win by 40. I mean, do that. And the ball was getting sticky, and that I think was the stickiest I've seen it on him. And love him to death, but golly, shoot and a normal shot every once in a while. Like get open and shoot a shot because I'm sitting here like I told you guys, I texted you guys like I'm watching Devo Davis where he goes up and he shoots. I'm like, no, what are you doing? Oh, good shot, Malik. Instead of
I
oh,
think
good
I
shot,
think
Devo.
I think the name you're looking for is Steph Curry in the what was that shot? And then it goes in. It didn't happen quite as often with Devo,
Yeah,
but
but
yeah,
it
I mean
happened. It happened though. I mean, shoot,
it
some
did
of the shots
happen.
he took when we were playing Kansas. I,
No, it
I mean,
happened. Yeah, 20 shot attempts is the most Malik has taken all season, but 50% is also his best game, his most efficient game of the season as well.
see, that's what makes
So
me mad about stats. All right.
Well,
that
and
man, sorry.
I think we want him taking that many shots. Like, I mean,
I
maybe
don't want
not
him taking
20.
20.
I was
Yeah.
No.
gonna I was just about to say maybe not 20, but I think we want him to lead the team in the number of shots taken. I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like the other guys just were not stepping up enough
Yeah.
for that
Yeah.
to
I mean,
happen. And that was the issue.
he took the game into his hands and he was hot. Like he had 3 or 4 possessions in a row where he was making shots and we needed the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
But one thing I was going to say about the offensive side of this team right now is that early on, like especially against the first couple teams we played, it felt like we were getting out in transition and the ball was moving and things were clicking. And like I understand the level of competition matters, but the level of competition against Winthrop should not be to the point where we stop doing those things.
Mhm.
I feel like we stopped running as much in transition. Like this team is going to thrive doing that, and
Yeah.
like they have the talent, the speed, the athleticism to get out and make things happen. And I feel like way too often we were slowing down, going to ISO ball, going to pick and rolls, and like we need to figure out our offense, sure, but we thrive pushing in transition. We've got the dudes like Acuff is so strong and fast getting to the rim, and he's just not doing it as much anymore. Malik can get to the rim. Billy Richmond can dunk on like anybody in the league right now, and like we're just not doing it right
Yeah.
now.
Do you think, this is a honest question, do you think it's because of how poorly we played defensively we didn't see
We
the transitions?
we did not get as many opportunities. That's very fair. Like we should have forced more, and even like missed shots, like long rebounds, things like that lead to those opportunities, and they were not missing shots. So like yes, that plays a factor, but I think there were still opportunities. Like I remember a few times in the game where I thought, like, why are we slowing down? Like there were
Hmm.
times when finally Bud Walton started getting a little bit of energy, and people were getting on their feet, and then Acuff would dribble the ball back out to half court, put his hand up, and slow everybody down. Let's get in a pick and roll and run. So, like we don't need that. Like I understand playing smart, but when you have the momentum, when you have the talent discrepancy that we had against that team, go score, go make a
Yep.
play, like just run.
And that's exactly what Brazil was doing. Brazil, he would just take somebody to the rack. He would just go in. He didn't miss his first shot until sometime in the second half. I mean, he
Yeah, he
Well,
was
was
5 of 6. He only
very
missed
good.
one.
Yeah.
and I was just about to say, Matt, I am just blown away, thrilled with the level of aggression that Brazil's playing with, the level of confidence that he's playing with. I mentioned this a couple episodes ago. He's not afraid this year to grab a rebound and take it coast to coast. He did it in this game. And that's what we need. Like we need guys who like are looking to get to the rim, like you said.
When we beat Duke, that's who's going to be the player of the game, in my opinion. He's going to have to step up like that. And notice
And
I
I
said
love
win.
I heard it. We heard it. Everybody heard it.
Everyone heard it, Matt.
I love too the like how smart Brazil is playing too, because in this game he takes only 6 shots, no 3-point attempts. He's not settling. Like we had a few possessions where we were posting him up intentionally to see if he could go get some points. One of them ended up in a turnover, his only turnover of the entire game. Right? Missed one shot, had one turnover, scored 14 points and grabbed 8 rebounds. Like that is the high IQ, smart basketball, efficient basketball that we need from Trevor Brazil. Maybe not superstar basketball, but elite in his role. And that was like perfect from him in
Yep. I,
His
this game.
his
Obviously, we could have used a little bit more. It was very close. He played very well.
yeah.
Go ahead, Joey.
His improvement under Cal needs to be studied because he has completely changed who he is as a basketball player. He's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, he went from the guy that we would spot up in the corner to a post player. I mean, it was a complete night and day from Muss to Cal. And I know that Cal said, like, hey, you're not going to be standing at the 3-point line. You're going to be posting up. And that's when they had that discussion on if he was going to come back to Arkansas or not. So he's done very well. Cal has made him his project and has done very good with him.
One more guy I want to call out real fast before we move on. I really liked a lot of what I saw from Nick Pringle in this game. Almost 28 minutes, did not miss a shot, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 13 and 7. I feel like finally he used his strength a little bit on offense and bullied his way to the rim against a guy that he can do that against. And I feel like we've played plenty of players this year that he could have done that against, and we have not seen it enough. I'm hoping that this game, hitting that game winner, the high emotion from the end of that game, I'm hoping we maybe see a little bit more spark from him moving forward, because he's been very solid in his minutes. Like he's not. I think he's been exactly what we hoped he would be. I think that we just got nothing from Ewan that we hoped we would get. Like we thought we were gonna have a really good front court, being that Ewan was going to be the starter and the all-star type player, and Pringle was going to be the solid 20-minute a night backup guy that gives us. And Pringle's been exactly maybe even a little bit more than what we expected, and Ewan is just kind of fallen off effort-wise. He's not playing very much. Different story, but Pringle's been great from my opinion. Like in his role, doing what he needs to do. I'm hoping to see more from him moving forward.
Now, if you don't follow the stat man on Twitter, Brandon, share the stat. Do your thing.
All right, yeah, yeah. I made a post. Go look it up if you haven't seen it yet. Looking at like over the 3 games that we either lost or struggled in specifically, being Michigan State, Samford, and Winthrop. Looking at the basically the plus minus for every player versus how many minutes they actually played, and the biggest discrepancies were Nick Pringle having the highest plus minus per minute on the team compared to not even being in the top five in minutes played in those three games versus Acuff actually. And I've been the biggest, like I'm the leader of the Darius Acuff fan club. So understand that I don't say this lightly. He has been poor. Like he's been in terms of plus minus, he has one of the lower plus minuses on the team despite playing a ton of minutes. I'm not saying he needs to play less minutes, but pay attention to lineups when he's off the court, pay attention to how he improves and evolves his game. The point of all that being, though, that I feel like Nick Pringle needs more minutes. I think that he is impacting the game in a positive way, even if the stats don't always say it. I think we need to see more of him moving forward. Less of Ewan, maybe more of Brazil at the four. Like I want to see Pringle get more of an opportunity to kind of show what he's got.
Yeah. I'm very happy with him offensively. He had some shoot, one of his dunks. I left my seat. He pulled that sucker behind his head
Dude, he
and
got up high enough. He got up high enough to
bam.
dunk it. Once he was at the rim, then decided he was going to cock it back. Like it was
Yeah,
amazing how
it
much hang time
was
he had on that.
it was awesome. I mean, I'm pumped, and I think what was it was a two podcasts ago we were talking about he's not going to be our offense, and then he just came out and showed us like, hey, I can play offense too, and we need that, especially with whatever's going on with you. And I hope that he figures it out because I we could use him, but Pringle has got us back.
Yep.
Has got our
I'm
back.
curious too to see. We talk about you and not giving us what we need. I'm curious if maybe we see a little bit more Isaiah Sealy moving forward. Cal has said that he'll happily, not happily, but will willingly cut the rotation down to six, seven guys if he has to. So already, if Ewan doesn't play much, we're down to seven. If something else happens, I think we could see more Sealy. I've liked what I've seen from him in his minutes so far too, but we'll discuss him more, if the need arises, like if he does get to play more minutes, but I think he's definitely solid in what we've seen so far.
As you know by now, we have teamed up with BetMGM again this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we will have special offers for Field of 68 fans, including same game parlays, best in class live betting, and daily odds boost. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app, you sign up using bonus code FIELD, you deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Make this college basketball season one for the history books. Make it legendary. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD and get your $1,500 first bet offer today.
All right, let's move on. Next game, Arkansas gets one more shot at a tune-up mid-major game before the brutal part of their schedule starts, where they play four top 15 teams over the course of six games. But first, one more game, like I mentioned, Jackson State coming into this game 0-4 already on the season, allowing 99.8 points per game. They have played three teams currently ranked in the top 25, three of their four games, but they're just like they're playing like traffic cones right now. Like there's no other way to say it. Arkansas has to take full advantage of this game. Also, fun fact before I get into their team, they are coached by former NBA All-Star and former Alabama standout Mo Williams. He's in his fourth season as head coach of Jackson State, sixth overall as a head coach. Has been fine for his tenure, but this is a pretty rough start that they've gotten off to so far. Offensively, they've got three guys that are taking like 65% of their shots or something similar to that. Jamie Mitchell, Deshaun Ruffin, Dorian McMillan, three guards, all between around 5'10", 6'4", taking all double-digit shot attempts per game. For the most part, they're not shooting very efficiently. Jamie Mitchell specifically is actually doing pretty well. He's shooting 55% from three, better than he's shooting from inside the arc. Definitely need to be aware of where he is at all times. Would not be surprised to see a lot of Malik Thomas and Billy Richmond draw this matchup, kind of chasing him around off screens and whatnot. He's leading them in scoring at 16 points on an absolute heater to start the season. But the other two guys, Ruffin and McMillan, are combining to shoot like 21% from three and less than 33% from the field. So like just not playing well to start their season, very inefficient. Played a lot of good teams so far. That is not to say that Arkansas can't, they have to still respect every team they walk into. I feel like they've had enough wake up calls in their last couple games to understand that anybody can come in and push you to your limit. They can't look at the 0-4 record, the 99 points per game, and think that they can just sleepwalk. Like they have to figure things out now because you can't be testing and figuring things out against Duke in a neutral site game. This is their last chance to really get things right, to figure out their defensive assignments on ball screens, for example, to remember that they can play well in transition, to see what Nick Pringle can give them on 30 minutes a night. Like this is the last chance they get to do all of those things against a team that they should be able to experiment with. If this is not a 25 to 30 point win, there are problems. Okay, like Samford is a solid team. Winthrop played out of their mind. Shit happens sometimes. All right. They pushed us to our limits. That's fine. You got to get right in this game and get things going before you head into this brutal stretch of schedule.
Yep.
And another thing I'm looking at during this game is Jackson State. They kind of run a loose 1-3-1 zone, and I'm interested to see how the Hogs have had trouble in the past with playing against a zone defense. So this will be a good early test for a weaker team to see that look.
Yeah. I feel like we played. Who was it? Winthrop that played a little zone, or was it Samford that played?
Samford did.
Samford played a little zone. I feel like we did pretty well in certain areas of that zone. I feel like, I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting. Different type of zone, I guess. I don't think it was a 1-3-1 that
No,
Samford played.
They kind of ran a 2-3.
Yeah.
But it's just with how sticky the ball is at times, and
Yeah. And how poor our shooting's been.
yeah,
I mean,
we just
UCA
struggle attacking the zone.
yeah.
Yeah, UCA ran a little bit of zone also against Arkansas. And I remember there were times where Brazil would be the guy in the middle, and he did very well catching and kind of making plays there. So like that's what I would be watching for guys like Brazil and Knox, maybe even Richmond at times, getting into the middle of that zone and seeing how they can kind of dissect it, make some plays
And
from the
that's
paint.
where Ewan should thrive.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
It is.
But what I want to see, I don't want to see I don't want to see any testing. I don't want to see any experimenting. I want to just see us go and play basketball and win. Like,
Yeah, let me turn this game off at halftime.
yeah,
Please.
like I want to be tired of watching us just. I want to be sad for the other team. That's what I want to be. I want to feel bad for them, and just go and run. Just go and run. We're talented enough. Just go and run. Beat them. Show them how good you are. We have no other chance to just beat somebody up like this. Take advantage of it. Do it. Get some confidence heading into.
We do have Queens coming up.
Yeah, we've got
Yeah.
just a couple of those
Fair
games in
enough.
the middle of this stretch, but you got to
Well, we
figure it
got
out now
Duke.
because it's about to get crazy.
We
Yeah.
got Duke coming up.
My thing is, if we don't beat this team by at least 30 points, we don't deserve to be a top 25 team, because these other teams, Illinois, Louisville, Auburn, those were 40, 50-point wins. Like the lowest was Louisville, and that was 36 points.
Yeah.
So if we win by less than 30, it's a failure in my book.
Don't let them
Yeah.
breathe. Finish
Yeah,
it early.
I think the spread on this game is like 23.5 or something, and it should be, you're right. I think anything less than like 28 is almost embarrassing at this point. Like you gotta kill them. Like this is, I would not be surprised at all, no matter what the score is, if we don't see any walk-ons in this game. I think that the last two games have given Cal reason enough to leave his guys on the court through the end of the game, no matter what the score is. Like you are going to go out there and learn every second of basketball that you can until it's time to play the big dogs.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I like what you said though. Like, go run and play. Like, I feel like there are times where we're starting to think too much already. Like, we're trying to really get into the offense or really think about like just play ball, man. Like the first couple of games when we saw this team, they looked like contenders, and I feel like they started thinking too much. And we're talented enough to just go play ball and beat almost anybody. They just have to go do it.
Yeah. We are still the team that could have beat Michigan State. Like that's the thing. We could have beat them. And we got to remember that they still have that in them, but it is ridiculous that we had such a close game against somebody we shouldn't have.
Yeah, after Jackson State, go Duke on Thanksgiving, Louisville at home that Saturday, then a slight break, Fresno State, but it's in Little Rock where weird things happen sometimes. Then you go to Dallas to play Texas Tech, one more mid-major against Queens before you play a top two team in Houston, also in a neutral site. So just crazy, just brutal. But I mean, that's the kind of testing that you want. It's okay if you lose some of those games. Hopefully, we don't go 0-4 against these teams. I would love to go 2-2, split them at least. I think we can, but we got to figure some things out before we get there. So that being said, Arkansas, like we said, plays Jackson State Friday night, 7 p.m. Bud Walton Arena. Please go if you are able to. If not, DM me, message somebody, get rid of your tickets. We want Bud Walton rocking, get some more butts in seats. But until then, that's all we have for you guys today. Quick reminder, we are brought to you by the Field of 68 Podcast Network. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Apple Podcast, wherever you get your stuff. Please like, subscribe, comment, leave a review, share with your friends. It really helps us out. We really appreciate it, especially if you enjoy the content that we're bringing you. I have been your host, Brandon Baker, joined as always by Joey Jackson and Matt Jackson. And as always,